Hi everyone, Aquarian Humanitarian here. Today we will continue our dialogue. I'm grateful and excited because we get to sit with Sir Tato Malay again. He has so much wisdom to share with us. This time it is about the 20 qualities of Kamalayan Learner. Kamalayan means consciousness. In the last three sessions, we covered qualities 1 through 7. So we're going to start with number 8 today. So we will continue with that and however much time we can cover in an hour. So with that said, I want to welcome and introduce Sir Tato Malay. Welcome, Kuya
Hello,
Tato.
and well, advance Merry Christmas to everyone. I mean,
Yes,
it's the
absolutely.
23rd, so practically we'll get to meet again after Christmas, but this one is
Yes.
before Christmas Day. All right. Anyway, so today we are going to continue discussing the qualities of a Kamalayan learner.
Mhm.
Wow. Now we are on our eighth
Number 8
quality.
na. Okay. Good, good,
Oh,
good.
and
So what's
a
number
Kamalayan
8?
learner A Kamalayan learner inspires. Yan,
Wow.
inspires. Okay. Now, what does that mean? Okay, I'll read again what I wrote in my book so that we won't miss
Okay.
anything, and then we'll
Sure.
discuss this later on.
Sure.
Okay, a Kamalayan learner inspires. One learns only when he is inspired. Nobody can force anyone to learn. Nobody can force anyone to learn something unless that person is willing and is inspired to learn. This is the problem in many schools. The children are not inspired to learn. That's why they have a
Yeah.
hard time learning because
Yeah.
so many of the teachers don't know how to motivate them or to inspire them. Okay,
Yes.
so this is something that they have to really to consider. No, nobody can force anyone to learn something unless that person is willing and is inspired to learn. He can only teach himself. Okay. What does that mean? He can only teach himself. That means even if the teacher would teach him, but if he doesn't really say it to himself, what he is hearing or listening to or hearing or teaching himself or accepting what the teacher was saying, nothing will enter his brain or his mind. So that's how he can only teach himself. Kamalayan learners know that they do not have all the answers, and the only answers are in people themselves. All right, medyo malito. I will just again explain it uh, in a very short manner. Kamalayan learners know that they do not have all the answers, and the only answers are in people themselves. What do we mean by that? Well, of course, we say that we do not have the answers, but we have the answers from, well, maybe from other people, from teachers, from authorities. But later on, we will discover that the real way to get the answers is really from just within us. I
Within.
will
Yep.
later explain more of that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So they do not force others to change because they know they cannot change anybody. The only thing they can do is to plant a seed in their consciousness or open their minds in accepting new ideas. This is what exactly we're doing in Kamalayan. We're just planting the seeds. So we do not force anyone to really accept what we're trying to tell them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not much can be done unless they are inspired. Life is boring. Life is boring if one does not have the inspiration to live life to the fullest. No amount of effort will suffice if man falls short of inspiration when he tries to achieve something. Things start to move when momentum is achieved. The greatest power that can affect someone is inspiration. It is hard to teach a person who is unwilling or uncooperative. But when the decision comes not from outside but from within, everything becomes light. Things happen effortlessly, without force, without pressure, only inspiration. The Kamalayan learner's search for meaning in the world compels him to passionately share what he discovers and inspires others to search for the meaning of their own lives as well. To touch and inspire, one has to reach out to the hearts, feelings, and emotions of others. I mean, this is very important. To touch and inspire, one has to reach out to the hearts, feelings, and emotions of others, not to the intellect, but to the hearts.
To the
That's
hearts.
how we should be able to, inspire people,
Mm-hmm.
inspire them through the hearts, through their feelings, emotions. Otherwise, it's just plain words, information. That's the thing. A Kamalayan learner's aim is to be an example and an inspiration to others. This is the only way he knows best to serve humanity. His life is what others would like to emulate. So, in other words, what we're trying to model to our friends, to those who would like to understand what Kamalayan is all about, is not exactly the words that we're sharing, but the example, how we live our lives, the
Mm-hmm.
way it should be lived in terms of what we're trying to explain. So that's it. I mean, that's exactly everything about what a Kamalayan learner, one of the qualities of a Kamalayan learner. A Kamalayan learner inspires. So anything you want to say about that?
Yes, I do. Actually, we need to
Uh,
invite our teachers.
yeah.
We need to
that's
invite
a
our
very
teachers to.
that's a very hard thing to explain to them because they think they're doing a job that actually has nothing to do with inspiration, but just to you know uh, put out the information to the children, and that's it. But again, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. And it becomes just a teacher, it just becomes a job. Sometimes they
The job.
probably don't even want to be dealing with students and not wanting to have that job for whatever
Yeah,
reason. So uh yeah, that's another issue. That's why it's so important that, we don't work because we need to make money. We should be working because that's what we're passionate about.
enjoying,
That's what
passionate.
you
Yes.
enjoy. What you Yeah, so we're gonna get there. It's gonna take
Yep.
some time, but we will.
All right. Well, anyway, okay. So if
Okay,
you don't have
so
anything to add, let's go to the
no,
next one.
yeah, we can go to
All
number
right.
9.
Number nine.
Yep.
Number nine is a Kamalayan learner understands relationships and promotes oneness. Yan. A Kamalayan learner understands relationships and promotes oneness. Everything that goes on in this world involves relationships with family, friends, environment, oneself, and with God. Kamalayan learners have a responsibility to build and nurture relationships. Love, peace, and harmony are communicated first to oneself. Again, it's your first relationship is not with somebody out there, it's with yourself. So again, love, peace, and harmony are communicated first to oneself. When individuals see goodness in themselves, they also see the good in others. They feel one with them. There is no separation. There is only oneness. Separation is what we want to overcome. Separation is what we want to overcome. It has been a long time belief that we are separated from one another. that we are also separated from God. God is up there, we are down here. Unity becomes an impossibility as long as people think that they are separated from each other. Race, religion, country, gender, and class status have separated mankind ever since. Slowly, modern technology is bridging the gap and bringing us closer to each other. With the unlimited information available now, we are seeing things in a different light. Everything now is exposed, and we should take advantage of this, especially when we are able to recognize beliefs and things we share with one another. As soon as we are able to see beyond our differences and live more in harmony by acknowledging our sameness, then we will be able to bring about that oneness, which seems so elusive. Many teachings in the past are still being interpreted in the same manner that they were explained during the ancient times. This is how many this is how many interpret and believe in the ageless truths that they know and still think that they are still relevant today. The words may be the same, but the definitions or interpretations should change through each generation. All right. So that's what uh, number 9 is all about. The Kamalayan learner understands relationships and promotes oneness. All right. Now, this is a very general thing that I just read. But if we go to specifics of what kind of relationships are we familiar with, relationships with other people, family, with girlfriends, boyfriends, husband, wife, with other people, office mates, and so on, and also with God. Now, you have something to add before I continue explaining other things here, because this is where I would want to put in my my
Just
two
one,
cents worth of no,
yeah, just quickly a comment.
yeah,
We have a long way to go on this one
we have a long way.
because we are indoctrinated to, I mean, the concept of oneness and the concept of unity is
Yeah.
still foreign, so foreign. So because we're indoctrinated to be separated, to have a division, and
Hmm.
and that's why when you were reading this, I was like, oh my God, we have a long way to go in this one. We need
That's
to
true. That's
be
why.
able to teach people that, it the other thing that was coming up to me when you were reading, it's like people don't know that we are all connected, that we are one. When people understand that we're all connected and we are one, they would think twice about harming another person, another being. But the
Yeah.
concept of oneness is so foreign right now that people don't even think that their ill will affects the other person and also the person who's doing the bad deed. And so, yeah, that's why we're having these consciousness Kamalayan session because
Yeah.
we need to open up
All
their
right.
minds. And yeah, we have a long way to go on this one. Okay.
Okay. Now, all right. Now let's discuss since we're into relationships. There is one kind of a relationship that I really need to always explain to people
Okay.
because this thing had been taken for granted, and many people get into it without really knowing what they're getting into. I'm talking
Okay.
about marriage.
Oh, wow.
Marriage.
Okay.
People get married for the wrong reasons.
Wrong,
All
wrong
right.
reason. Yes, yes.
Just because they got infatuated because of the way they look. I mean, the way someone looks. I mean, like you know, they found someone handsome or beautiful or just the eyes, and they would want to marry for life already that person. All
So
right. Now the
shallow.
thing here is what really is the reason why people get married? They want to have a family. That's one. What about sex? Does it really play a big factor in marriage? It's supposed to. That's the first attraction that
Mm,
people get into. That's why they get
yes.
married, and they actually get to really only think that because of religion that they can only have sex if they get married. But that's not true anymore now. Do you believe? I mean, I don't know if if you're aware of this. Do you know now that there was this survey made recently here in the Philippines
Mhm.
that those who watch porn videos on YouTube are I mean, more females are watching than males. More girls are watching porn videos now than men, than guys. So what does that mean? All right. I mean, they're opening their minds already. I mean, it's not anymore a taboo. It's not taboo anymore for them to watch these things. I mean, because it's readily available. I mean, no amount of warnings from the church would deter them from watching. So basically, they're into it. And so, what does that imply? If they're already open up, or they've opened up to these things, I mean, they're open to just plain having sex before marriage, premarital sex. That's why we have a lot of, I would say, uh, babies born out of wedlock because you know, I mean, teenagers, very young teenagers, not just those who are 16 years old or 17 or 18, but way below are already having sex. And for what? Well, of course, not to get married. I don't think marriage is their plan at this point in time. But again, relationships. And so, what does that mean? They get to really have these sexual desires, especially during teenage years, the early teenage years, wherein the desires really in teenagers are really very strong. And I would say if they cannot control it, I mean, it's really bound to just explode, whatever, or how you would say it. Now, the thing here is, what is it really that happens now? So people now are into sex outside of marriage. Is that good or bad? Many people would say, no, it's a sin. Well, that's according to religion. But again, what about love? Do they really love each other? Or it's just plain sexual desire? Now, the thing here is, what do you think of sex? Does it does does love have to be part of sex every time? For me, I have always been trying to study this, but I came up with this conclusion that sexual desire is different from love. Love, the energy of love is different from the energy of sex. In other words, there are two different things. I mean, you can have sex without love. I mean, because the desire is there. What I mean by love, of course, love is somehow taken into consideration that it is not conditional. It is unconditional, not unconditional love. I mean, conditional love is because you know that they have conditions like I love you because you're cute or you're you're very good. I mean, you're very I would say gentle with me. I love that kind of affection or being given that kind of adoration, whatever. So, in other words, we take into consideration all these things as love. That's part of it. So we warm up to these people who would show us these kinds of, I would say, understanding or affection, whatever. And somehow we mistaken them for love. And because of that, we allow ourselves already to get into a deeper relationship as, because of that. All right. Now the thing here is, what is it now that we have to really explain here? Are we going to just say we have to open up, accept it as is, or we still continue with what religion had always told us, that sex is not allowed until or unless you get married? Sex, the sexual desire is a natural desire. That's exactly what I always tell people. Before, sabi ko nga Kamalayan became very popular in Baguio because this is exactly the main topic of Kamalayan during that time, when teenagers would actually, come to my schedules, they would cut their classes just to attend my lectures on sex, about all these things that I'm trying to explain. And they've been trying to now apply it in their lives in terms of what they've been learning from me. Of course, I was kind of hesitant at first. They're still students, and then some of them are minors, and so I would just warn them now. Sabi ko, wow, I think if this goes out of hand, I'll get into trouble with your parents. But
Hmm.
anyway, it turned out positively. I mean, okay. Now, the thing here is, when I try to explain to them the differences between desire and love, you know, they actually now realize that, okay, all right, they became more, I would say, uh, more, I would say, aggressive in terms of how they would approach now their relationships. Unlike before, they're just, I mean, Filipinos are known to be conservative. I mean, they would not actually be open to uh, to relationships easily. But then again, when they learned that it has nothing to do with marriage, so they actually became, I would say, happy about discovering all these things. But then again, I said, let's put everything in order because we have to have responsibility here. It's not just going to be at random with, you'll have sex with anyone or at anyone for that matter. No, the thing here is, I explained to them, animals don't have sex all the time. They, they only have seasons for that. Di ba? I mean, mating season. That's why they call it the mating season. So in other words, the rest of the year they don't have sex. But with human beings, that desire is there all throughout the years. It never waned. So practically, what do we do now with that kind of a sexual desire that people now have? Now the thing here is, of course, with religion, they try to suppress it or repressed it. And that's where the problem started. That's why we have this kind of a society that we have now, is because of that kind of repression that happened in terms of how we actually express ourselves, especially our sexual desires. We had been controlled. And so what happens? Do you think rape will really happen if people were more open to their sexual nature? I think they would be more tame rather than, parang, ang tawag doon hindi nila alam kung kailan nila gagawin because they're doing it, they're trying to hide from it because they don't want to be exposed because according to them, it's not supposed to be seen in public or be known by others. So they do everything uh, in cover. So many of the things that we get to really see now, the rape cases that we get to hear, these are results of all this repression or suppression of all the sexual desires. Okay, look at what we have in media right now. We have too much violence, gun, carrying of guns and killing people. And that's what we see in many of the action series that we watch on television and in the movies. That's why we see a lot of things that are happening also in our society where we get to really see people, young people, especially killing already using guns because that's what they see on television. What if, for example, we show more sex on television? What will happen? It will go. I mean, this. Do you think people will have more sex? Yeah, for a while siguro. Pero magkasawa yan eh. Just like if you look at
Eventually.
the first world countries, I mean, that's nothing anymore because sex is openly discussed, openly watched on TV, on in the movies, and so there's nothing really that is hidden from them. And so they don't normally their desires are not suppressed. They can express it the way they want to, and if the other person would agree, there's no problem. The thing here is now people still are hiding from all these things, and then the moment they get to have a situation and the opportunity rather to do it, they take advantage of it regardless of what. And then the consequence of it is like, for example, many of them we see in terms of after the act had been done, because they will be reported by the, for example, the girl to the authorities. What will happen is they kill the girl as a result of after having that sex. Imagine, rape mo na, pinatay mo pa. And that's what we normally see now. Eh. Why? Because we think that you know we did something wrong, and then we want to hide it, and we think that if we kill that person, it will not anymore come out in the open. But again, as I've said, the law will uh, come after you. And as a result of that, you'll still be arrested, whatever. Okay. Another thing is, excuse me. Another thing is the sexual desire. It's a natural desire. And how do we control it in terms of the way we should live our life in terms of, you know, it's not going to be suppressed. It's not going to be repressed. But then again, it's going to be a natural thing for you, but you're not going to feel guilty about it. And this is where I explain it in Kamalayan. Because in Kamalayan, I always tell them, there's nothing wrong. You won't, there's nothing bad in Kamalayan as long as you're not hurting other people. As long as the other person agrees, no problem. All right. Now the thing is, but what about people who are already married? Married. Now the thing in the Philippines, we don't have divorce, so people cannot separate. But in other countries, if you would actually take a look at the other cultures, do you know that in Bhutan or in Norway, for that matter, a girl who is married can actually still have affairs with other people if the partner would agree. I mean, they have to talk it over, but that's what they do now. I mean, they have extramarital affairs, but it's not something that hurts the marriage. Why? All right. they still stay in they still stay married. Why do they stay? Why do they stay? Married? Because if if they separate according to their religion, what God has put together, let no man put asunder. That's a biblical statement. What God has put together, let no man put asunder, or let no man separate them. But then again, what if, okay, you don't separate, but you have another person to have sex with? All right, what am I trying to say? Because as I've said, the nature of man is yearly nandun in desire. And marriage, the novelty of marriage, basically it wears off after how many years? 5 years, 7 years, and you take each other for granted, and that's where a lot of people stay in that marriage, stay in that marriage state because they cannot get out from it unless there's divorce. But then if there's no divorce, like in the Philippines, what happens is they get to have queridas or another girl. And what about the woman? The woman has to stay uh, married, and parang it imply. I mean, somehow, parang we think of a woman they cannot have another partner. But then again, as I've said, now that men, you girls now are more of into watching porn than guys. That means that they're more open. They're opening up to all these things. Now the thing here is, if a girl is allowed to have more than one partner in a married state, would they do it? There are already countries that are doing it. Noon pa, they had been doing it because it's part of their culture. That's why I think in Bhutan and uh, I forgot I think I don't know, Nepal also, wherein the girls can marry other guys. They marry. They don't only marry one guy. They get married. They get to get married again to another guy, like in the Muslim uh, religion. A guy can marry five, 4 or 5 women, right? Allowed. I mean, that's allowed by the law, by the religion to five. What about women? Now I discovered that there are cultures that also do that. I mean, the women actually get married to also other guys. I mean, somehow they've allowed it. So things are changing, really. I mean, why? Because you cannot repress sex. You cannot suppress sex. Because the moment the 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 attraction is not there anymore. Kaya nga what God has put together, let no man put, or let no man put asunder. What is God? God is love. So what love has put together, let no man put asunder. But if love is not there anymore, many of the marriages that we have seen or that I'm seeing, really, they fall out of love. And then they just stay married because they're married. No, I call that prostitution. I mean, you're just doing it because you're married under the law. So is the law actually promoting another illegal thing? I mean, instead of something worth, I mean, that's why ako siguro, nasashock ko na. I mean, that's why I said when I will talk about relationships, you will really get to listen to many of my beliefs in terms of what I believe about sex. And this is one thing that I want people to really learn, because I want people to be more uh, aware of who they are and enjoy their physicality. All right, sabi nga nila, no, it's not allowed. especially in religion, in the Catholic Church. They say that's why, the real kind of happiness that you will have to experience will not happen here on earth. You're supposed to only suffer here. And then when you are in heaven, that's the time you will enjoy whatever you're going to enjoy. Really? Is that true? Wala ka ng katawan. Pag namatay ka, you're a spirit. I mean, how can you enjoy sex? That's why we're here in this physical form, because we're on earth with a physical body, and part of our body has that sexual nature in us. And the moment we get out of it, that sexual nature is not with us anymore. So where will you enjoy that sexual desire that you want to enjoy if you're not
Experience.
anymore here on earth? See, I mean, this is what people don't know. I mean, they think they just have to suffer, or tiis na lang, and let go of all these kinds of joyful experiences that they're supposed to still enjoy. I'm not being promiscuous. I'm not trying to make people be kind of I would say sex addicts or whatever. But then again, as I've said, our sexual nature is beautiful. It's really something that has to be experienced, especially the orgasmic state that we experience. Now, the thing here is, if you will notice, when people get to have orgasm, what do they say? Oh my God. I mean, a lot of them would say, "Oh God." I mean, they shout, or they exclaim the name of God. So what does that imply? It's heavenly. The experience is really heavenly. I mean, that's why that kind of I would say, feeling, or that moment of having it, is really getting you out of your mental state and become thoughtless for a moment. You just think of God. As a matter of fact, this heaven, because you're experiencing something heavenly. And I think this is where really meditation came in. I mean, when people got to really experience this thing, I mean, when people get to really explain what meditation is all about, I mean, they try to tell you, or that people tell us, no, when you meditate, you don't think of anything. Yes, that's it. That's it. Also in sex, I mean, the moment you have already that one, you're not thinking of other things. You don't think of where to get the next money that you have to pay for your one when you're having sex. I mean, all you're thinking of is that moment. So that moment is that kind of a feeling that really more of would intensify, and it creates what that kind of bonding of two people that would share each other's I would say ecstasy, and then somehow after that they they keep quiet, and nothing, you won't hear anything afterwards, and then just would embrace each other, and then somehow think, not exactly think, but reminisce, or enjoy the moment being together without really worrying about other things. I mean, that's exactly what I'm trying to tell people, that this is something natural for us. I'm not saying that sex is sacred. It's not. But again, as I've said, it's part of our nature. So what do we need to learn about that? We cannot suppress it. We have to learn how to use it to our advantage, especially with our body. Because if you try to get away from that kind of I would say, that nature, like what the priests undergo, celibacy. That's not natural. That's why they're unhappy. Many of these religious people who are claiming celibacy are not really happy because it's not natural for us to to stay that way. I mean, to be that way because it's part of us. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been given a body or you wouldn't have incarnated to enjoy a body because a body really has it. As I've said, animals have it, but again, as I've said, animals do it only during the mating season. But with us, practically all year round, it's with us. But we need to understand really what this is all about. These things are never explained properly. That's why a lot of people get into this kind of a problem when they have this kind of an experience afterwards because somehow they thought that was just it. But then again, the real thing that we need to understand here is we 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 have to be able to understand who we are and how we are able to really express everything in us, including our sexual desire. That's all. I mean, that's what I'm trying to just explain here. Because a lot of relationships get to really dissolve because of that problem, that sexual thing. That's the only thing that actually makes it, I don't know, not workable anymore. Otherwise, if the sexual thing is still part of it, whether it's with the same partner or other partners, whatever, I would say they'll be happier and they will not have or they will not encounter problems really. I don't know. This is very, I would say, out of this world. This kind of an explanation I have given you. But again, as I've said, that's why I don't discuss it in Kamalayan readily. I mean, unless they would want to learn from it. I mean, from me. But if they don't ask, I don't talk about it. But since today we touch on that particular quality when we discuss relationships, I need to, I needed to explain, especially when it comes to relationships like marriage, because I want people to really have a happily married life if they want that. But if not, like me, I didn't get to get married anymore because I don't believe in marriage. I mean, although I believe in sex, I mean, I believe in having relationships, but I don't believe in marriage. So, yun lang ako. I have more to say, but then again, baka nasasya ka rin. I don't know if I can still continue
What
sharing other
I'm
things still.
what I'm thinking here is like, I mean, in order to implement things that you shared, it's like you have to remove religion across the
Yeah,
board.
exactly.
And that's the only time that this thing can be done.
Exactly. Or invent a new religion. I mean, okay, look, Islam did it. They actually allowed four wives. I mean, four wives. But what about the women? I mean, it's unfair, di ba? I mean, the women also are supposed to be entitled for that. But no, but because we have this masculine, so the
Patriarchal.
men impose, di ba?
Yeah, that needs to
But
be
if we
changed too.
now have, but now that we are in the Aquarian age, the feminine
Energy.
uh, energy will more of really now change everything,
Yep. Yeah, so
di ba?
religion is like stopping everything in the process. You know, it's
Yeah,
making people unhappy, and then because they know that they're committing sins when they do things that they're not supposed to, it just adds on that negative energy of guilt,
yeah,
you know. So, my advice, don't get married. And I'm talking
yeah.
from experience because I been married twice,
True.
divorced twice.
Yeah, well, the best example is me. Never got married. So and
Don't
I had 60
plus
girlfriends.
you have to share that, huh?
Oh, see, I mean, all right, the 60 girlfriends. I mean, they're not. I don't know. I mean, negative. I mean, lahat sila still we're in talking terms. I mean, we're still happily seeing each other, talking to each other through Facebook, whatever. Nothing really uh, negative about our way of dealing with each other.
You know,
So
the
happy.
other thing, the other thing that came to mind is and this would be a whole new topic about this area, because people don't understand that when they have sexual intercourse with another person, that they're taking in the energy not only of
Okay,
that
yeah, okay.
person you are
That's
having an
true.
intercourse with, but also
That's
the other partners of that person. And people don't
yeah.
realize that.
That's why that's why for a long time now I've been having a hard time looking for a partner because I have to make sure that the other person also would reach the same kind of frequency that I am already now experiencing. Unlike before, I never cared about it. But then again, now I'm aware of it. That's why I've never had a girlfriend for the past 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. Because of, I mean, people don't understand. Again, it's another topic, and
Yeah, it's another topic.
it's another topic, and what also came to mind is so that energy exchange during sexual intercourse and tantric sex. People should
Yeah,
look up
tantric sex.
tantric sex if they're
Oh
not
yeah,
familiar with
exactly.
that
I
yet.
mean, that's why I'm talking this way because basically tantric sex elevated it to that level, to that higher level. I mean, it's supposed to really be openly accepted, discussed. That's why when we get to really see the kind of countries that are open to this thing, they're one of the happiest people in the world. I mean, their survey, I mean, their ratings are they're included in one of the best or the happiest people in the world because they don't have problems like what we're experiencing now.
Yep. All right. So what number are we on now? Are we moving on to,
Excuse me.
is that number
Okay.
10?
Yeah. Do we still have time?
Yeah, maybe for one more.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Number 10 is right. Wait, I'll just have to take a look at my. I lost my Prodigo. Yeah. Continuation of number 8. A Kamalayan learner is passionate.
Number 8 or
Yeah.
number 10?
Number 10
Number
pala.
10.
Kamalayan
Yeah.
learner is passionate. Okay. Nothing big ever happens without passion. Intense passion is the key to bringing about a new world into existence. Passion brings about intense results. It creates from the very core of energy that one is able to muster in achieving certain results. A passionate person will not stop at anything when he is doing work that springs from love. Enjoying what one doing is a prerequisite to passion. Enthusiasm, focus, desire, discipline, joy, and energy come naturally when passion is present. A Kamalayan learner passionately helps others discover and understand themselves better. He opens their minds to a level of thinking where they become curious to learn many skills and subjects especially needed for a new world. Because of their passion, Kamalayan learners always aggressively look for opportunities to promote their message to the public, whether they are in a conference, meeting, on radio and television, on the phone, school, wherever. They want an audience. They want an audience to listen to the importance of their message. They get energized and become alive the moment they are in front of an audience. They magically are transformed, and so is their audience. So that's what number 10 is all about. A Kamalayan learner is passionate.
Okay, that's pretty
Nothing comes
straightforward.
out without passion. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's your passion?
Sharing my wisdom with other
Yeah,
people. It
exactly.
makes me
That's exactly
happy.
what I read the last in the last paragraph. Uh, they get energized and become alive the moment they are in front of an audience. They want an audience to listen to the importance of their message. They magically
Hmm.
are transformed, and so is their audience. So that's what we're passionate about, sending this message to our audiences.
And I will link number 10 back to number 8, which is inspiration. And then what
Inspiration.
I inspiring others. And our teachers shouldn't be teachers if they're passionate, if they're not passionate about teaching
Exactly.
students. Don't be a
Exactly.
teacher if you're not have any patience, if that's not something that you want to do, because it's just detrimental to the students. Students look up to you to learn things from you, but you're not doing a good job because you're just there to earn income to support yourself. Don't do that. Try to find things that makes you happy, what you're passionate about, because there is something in you that you're passionate about, and sometimes it's not teaching. It might not be teaching.
That's
That's the
true. I mean,
problem.
they
That's the
just
problem we have.
yeah,
How can we inspire our kids to learn when the teacher doesn't even, they're not even inspiring or motivating, or they're not even motivated. I mean, the kids would see this energy from their teachers.
exactly.
So that's
So
very,
I
very
had
important.
undergo a Kamalayan seminar talaga. These teachers, they need to understand what they're doing, especially, yun na nga, of course, we need to earn. We have to have money. But then again, what will we do to be able to get that money? It's good if we are doing something that we're passionate about. At the same time, as a result, get extra money out of what we're doing, out of our passion. That's why we see a lot of superstars like basketball basketball stars. In the States, they get paid highly because they're passionate about what they're doing. People feel their passion when they're watching them play. Singers as well. When singers sing and they're passionate about their singing, people pay they pay high money. I mean, they give money, give a lot of money to people who are doing things that they're passionate about, especially those artists that I'm talking about here. The thing is, what is our passion? I mean, we have to discover that, or what makes us enthusiastic. That's exactly what I am into, really. Passion and enthusiasm are the only two things that we need to work on in this world. Without them, nothing really will materialize. We will just be miserable when it
Yeah.
comes to what we're doing. Because, yun na nga, di ba? For example, if I'm passionate about, for example, singing, and I don't get to earn about it, but I love to sing, I mean, whether I earn big money out of it or not, I'm
Right.
happy because I love to sing. I mean, it's not the money that I'm after. I mean, it's really doing what I enjoy doing. So, what is it that we're supposed to really be passionate or enthusiastic about? This is where
Okay.
I really give, I would say, assistance in terms of knowing who they are, in terms of their personality, because somehow their personality has already the clues to that passion or that enthusiasm that we're looking for. Because many people are not the same. Definitely. I mean, a conservative person cannot be in show business where you are supposed to be an extrovert facing people, hundreds, thousands of people most of the time. And a conservative person would love to just be alone, doing your job in an office, inside the room, and be concentrated on what you're doing. That's why we have people like auditors, those who do auditing jobs. I mean, are you an auditor? Yeah, I think so. CPA, oh, tama. Oh. But look at all these people, they don't have social lives. I mean, normally they're deep down concentrated with their work. Sabi ko nga, if I have a partner who's an auditor, I might not be able to enjoy the presence of that person because I might not even see the person at all because they're stuck in the office and really cramming for the next report, whatever.
Yep. There's always deadlines, especially in
But
tax.
but they're passionate about it, so I cannot take that away from them. I mean, that's what they love doing, and they're getting paid for that, highly paid for that. See, I mean, kanya-kanya lang yan. What are you passionate about?
The other
And take
issue,
advantage. Yes.
the other issue
Other
with
issue.
this, the other issue with this, Kuya Tats, is some people don't even know what they're passionate about.
Exactly. That's why in Kamalayan, I always tell them, give me your birthday because I can give you already a
Ah,
clue as to who you are. Because I am
oh my
into
God.
astrology as well. I mean,
Mhm.
birthdays really are able to define the person already according to who they are. That's why, di ba, I think I made you read your birthday uh, uh, description of who you are. I mean, according to according to your birthday, this is your personality type. And that's exactly the beginning of where I can help people discover their passion. Doon pa lang malalaman ko na what they're passionate about. And somehow guide them where they're passionate. I will not try to tell them do this because this is where you'll earn money. That's what schools do.
Yeah.
Kaahon ka nila. And then, they would just force you to become like everyone because that's where the money is. But where is the passion? It's up there. That's why you see a lot of failures later on.
So I think that
Yeah,
the takeaway on this session is, um, especially with this last item, the key point about number 10, you know, finding what you're passionate about.
yeah,
And what what's concerning is that we are so brainwashed and preconditioned and so indoctrinated that what you need to do is take all of those things out.
you know, I,
Stop
the
thinking
corruption
about
that
what other people would think about, your next move, because
exactly,
that's gonna come into play when you're trying to decide on what your next step would be. Okay, you're
exactly,
passionate about this, but then the next thought would be like, if I do this, then this will happen, and then you start thinking about what would people say. You cannot
yeah,
be, don't try to get any validation from anybody. Otherwise, you're not going to be
exactly,
able to do what you love to do. So you're not
exactly.
getting any permission from anybody. Don't even try to get permission from
That's what
anybody. Go for what it is that you love to do, and don't focus on the money, because when you're
yeah,
focusing on the money, like when you're thinking, oh, I want to do this, but how can I make money? Don't focus on
uh,
the money part, because when you focus on the money part, that means you're embodying the lack and scarcity mindset. What you need to do is figure out what it is that you wanted to do that you're going to be happy with and focus on that, just that, and then
Just
allow
that.
and be receptive and and just see what the universe will, you know, put your way. But never ever think not that, oh, I can't do this thing that I'm passionate about because of the money issue. No, you cannot be thinking like that, because the moment that you think negatively about what it is that you want to do, I mean, that's, you're not going to get to the level where you're really seriously happy.
Exactly.
No, no.
In the new world that we are going to experience very soon or now, what we'll be seeing is we're not doing things for the money anymore,
Mm,
because money would become, well, not exactly non-existent, but in some other ways, somehow, this is where the passion will come in.
yeah,
Do what is it that makes you happy, and just do that, and people will give to you what you deserve or what you need. And that's all. But you have to just do whatever you want to do. That's more of what will happen in the next world that we're now going to experience.
correct.
We're not going to work for the money. We're just going to just do what I'm doing or what we're happy doing, and that's it.
Yeah,
And
because
we are supplied with everything.
correct.
Yes,
Don't, like, the important thing here is, um don't go after material things, because that's not going to make you happy. Go after whatever it is that you're passionate about. Focus on that, because the moment that you make that decision, the divine universe creator source will step in to provide for you. But the problem
exactly.
is people don't get to that level where they're very sure of what they're going to do. You have to get to that level
Well, now,
and then let the universe do its thing. I'm not saying, we still have to pay our bills, we still have to eat. But again, you cannot focus on those things, because what did the Bible say? Matthew 6:34, my favorite Bible verse. Do not worry. Do
uh,
not worry. You
exactly,
will be provided. You will be provided.
will be
So
provided.
focus on that.
Exactly.
Focus on that. And
What
just
makes you happy?
watch that's another thing. If you're not practicing mindfulness, you might be missing opportunities. There might be some guidance that coming into you, in through your intuition, and you're not acting on it. You have to be able to, I mean, awareness is very important. Awareness, being the present
So,
moment, is so important, because there are always downloads to you. And if you're not aware of those downloads, then how can you? It's always going to be missed opportunity. For example, if there's
yeah,
a download that says you should go here, whatever it is, but in your mind, oh my gosh, you're like, um, I don't want to go there. I'm lazy. It's gonna cost me money. That's a missed opportunity because you'll never know who you're gonna meet at that event. That will open up
exactly.
opportunities for you. So that's the one thing that you have to remember. Practice mindfulness, so you're always aware of what's
Yeah.
happening with your body, with the thoughts that's coming in, with the download. Trust those
With your
downloads.
emotions as well. I mean, feeling whatever you're feeling, because basically we're still guided by our emotions. Basically, that's who we are here on earth. Our emotions are the ones that are really dictating where we're going. Now, we have to just refine our emotions now to the point that we're supposed to be able to use it in a more productive manner, unlike before when we just disregarded everything about what we're feeling and went berserk. doing several things that we regretted doing later on. So now I think people now are aware because nobody knows what's happening now in the future. I mean, even schools don't know what subjects to teach because there's no clear focus on jobs that are available in the next 10 years. What will you study about? I mean, that's the real problem of schools now. Eh. What course are you going to uh, to prepare for these students to be able to
Actually,
really learn all these things that we're supposed to be learning in the future, but there's nothing yet to learn about. So the
there's
only thing that I would insist now that should be taught in schools is Kamalayan. Everything that we're talking about here should be taught in schools because this is where people now will get the guidance that they need. Not anymore from religion, not anymore from the government that we actually uh, live in or live under. So practically everything has changed. But again, the universal laws and principles are the same still. And that's what we need to learn. So that's what we're
yeah.
teaching.
I didn't even know about the universal law until I start writing my book, my first book.
Yeah. I
It's like
mean,
these are the things that so very basic foundation, and it's not taught in school.
it's not taught in schools. You know,
Uh,
another thing that should be taught in schools, astrology. I mean,
well,
okay,
there's so many things that they don't want us to know. That's the reason why.
yeah,
That's the
because
bottom
okay,
line.
what do you mean? Why would we now consider astrology? Look at this is Christmas. Who were the three persons who visited Jesus when he was born? They're not kings. They're not really kings. They were magi's, astrologers who saw from the stars. I mean that there was something who was really going to be someone in the future, and they knew. That's why they were guided. What do you mean by guided? By what? The stars, or maybe not just the stars, but some ETs out there shining light over a certain place where they should go to. And that's not exactly explained properly in terms of what we know about Christmas. So,
That
what we
that
know
would be
about
another
Christmas,
topic. That would be another
another
topic
topic.
that
But since it's
it's
Christmas
gonna
now,
be a
I
long.
touched on that now. But again, that's another topic really. But again,
We
astrology is really something that we need to understand. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Maybe in one of our Zoom calls we can go over. I mean, we have a list of things that we wanted to share after the 20 qualities. There's one. I know that there's one topic that you wanted to discuss already. Maybe add into that um, a
Yeah,
whole
actually, I
new
gave that
section on
intro
sex.
already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I gave an intro already about what it is all about. I mean, the things that we just talked about earlier are just pahapiao. It's not exactly the entire thing yet. So I just wanted to give you exactly a glimpse of what my book is all about. On that.
All right, sounds good. And what would be your email address if they wanted to get your books?
Well, actually, they can get through my messenger, Tato Malay, or email
Okay.
address is tatomalay@yahoo.com. And yeah, to those who are watching in YouTube, I mean, they're not my friends in Facebook or Messenger. Yeah,
Yes.
tatomalay@yahoo.com or tatomalay@gmail.com.
Okay. And I leave it in the when I post this too.
Yep.
Because some people are uh not using Messenger, so they can email you.
Yeah.
All right, great. That's
Yeah.
Thank you for your time this afternoon. We gone over
Thank you.
points eight. 9, and 10. So we'll resume with point 11. So we have 10 more
Yeah.
qualities to go.
So 10 more qualities to go. See, I mean,
Yes.
that's why Kamalayan is hard to really share in terms of what I really came out with because we need to really have this kind of a formality in terms of those who would buy my book would already understand what I'm talking about. But if those who are listening for the first time, I mean, of course, I would still would share it through this kinds of Zoom videos that we're doing. So not no problem really. I mean, we're going to continue doing all these things in this platform. Thank you. Thank you, Jane. Merry Christmas. And Merry Christmas to everybody.
Happy holidays, everyone. See you next
Happy
week,
holidays.
Kuya. That's